Oh, whoops. No, I won't forgo sleep. I'll just say a couple of words about sleep. Sleep is a significant mental health issue. Chronic insomnia, poor sleep, is associated with much poorer mental health. If sleep is an ongoing issue for you, well, put it this way. There are as many people depressed because of poor sleep as there are people who are sleeping poorly because of depression. In fact, more than half of people who have chronic insomnia and depression, if they learn to sleep better, the depression will resolve. So in terms of learning to sleep better, learning behavioural strategies to improve sleep, I highly recommend it, particularly in the context of mental health issues. Depression, number one, but also anxiety and other mental health issues. Sleep is an important mental and physical health issue. Yes? Yeah.
That might have some connection with maybe the prevalence of depression and anxiety in the younger age that I know always been there.
Yeah.
Whether that's an increase.
I think it's probably having a huge effect for a number of young people. Irregular sleeping patterns, up late at night, particularly if they're up late at night and screen time, the actual screen, the light playing on the eyes doesn't allow the melatonin to kick in the way it needs to. That's your hormone that switches on your sleep cycle. We actually need low lighting at night, in the hour leading up to going to bed. We're not talking about lights out, we're talking about just low lighting. Because if the lighting's high, or if we're sitting in front of a bright screen, the melatonin doesn't kick in. So kids, the brain thinks it's day when it's actually night. So screen time close to bedtime for a child or adolescent is terrible for sleep. Yes, I think it is one of the major issues for adolescents these days, that they're staying up late, they're on the internet, and doing all this sort of stuff, thinking that they can just wake up and not suffer the ill effects of that. So that really, I think, needs to be managed, particularly for kids, and not to get into that kind of pattern. It matters for adults as well, but probably matters for kids more. Okay, so we're all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. So, in terms of spirituality and meaning, where we find meaning and purpose in life, again, I'm not going to be prescriptive about that, but I do think it is actually a basic human need. So, as Carl Jung said, the lack of meaning in life is a soul sickness whose full extent and full import our age has not yet begun to comprehend. So, the importance of meaning. So there are a lot of different ways of exploring and expressing meaning. Traditionally, I suppose most of us would have said that would have been through religion. A lot of people these days aren't necessarily interested in religion, but you can explore and express meaning in other ways as well. If you're a Fred Hollows, who I gather wasn't a very religious man, but he was very interested in altruism, looking after the well-being of others, and spent months every year of his life going over to disadvantaged countries and helping to restore sight for those who'd lost it. That gave his life an enormous amount of meaning and depth. It could be through science. If you're an Einstein, it would have been through science. It could have been through an interest in the environment as a way of connecting to something bigger than yourself. So there are a lot of different ways. So I'm not going to suggest there's a right way and a wrong way, but I do actually think it's a basic human need. I'm going to just mention the term religious commitment here, because that's the way that most of the studies have put it. That's the easiest thing to measure, and that's what tends to get measured, rather than the more nebulous, hard to define concept of spirituality. So I'm just defining that there, but I don't want to limit the conversation to that. But just to give you an example, this is one of the first reviews in the 1998. It's looking at about 100 studies, and studies since then have pretty much confirmed the same thing. If a person has an active spiritual, religious dimension to their lives, an active search for meaning, then it's protective against depression and suicide, substance abuse, better physical health, and a longer life expectancy. And the research has been pretty clear and consistent about that. So whatever way is meaningful for us, it's actually important that we explore and express meaning rather than just life as a going through the motions. It's actually important that we find things that are meaningful to us. So let's move on from the, yes? With surfing?
No, serving.
Serving, oh yes, absolutely, yes. Although I don't know why that popped into mind, because somebody came up to me the other day and said, surfing, my creativity, my joy in life. I just don't do it anymore. I just wish I could get back to it, but absolutely serving, so feeling of use and service to others, absolutely.